Welcome to Her Story Untold Studios, where we believe every trial is a step toward triumph. I'm your host, Tanir, and today we have an extraordinary guest with us. She is a remarkable entrepreneur, a dedicated parent, and a natural leader. Let's dive into her inspiring journey and hear her incredible story. I am so excited to have you here, Emily. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you. Thank you
Can
for that introduction
you,
too.
absolutely. Can you introduce yourself and let us know where you're from and it is that you do?
Yeah, Emily Adams. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, a single mom of two boys. What is it that I do? I say all things transformation.
Yes.
But I'm the co-founder of Transformative Leadership, where we do operations and leadership consulting. And it's a very holistic approach since we believe operations, systems, and processes are just as important as how you are leading yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. Can you share a bit about your background and what led you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in the Amish culture, and I left at the age of 17, jumped out of a two-story house in the middle of the night, and that was the first leap of many leaps of faith that I have taken in my life.
Hey.
And then from there, I got into a very abusive relationship, marriage, got pregnant at 18 and had two boys, and then went through a divorce. Fast forward and decided to go get my degree from Purdue. So I graduated from Purdue. And for those that also don't understand the Amish culture, you only go to eighth grade education, which is
Mhm.
equivalent to a sixth grade education in the elementary.
Okay.
So I went from there, got my GED, graduated from Purdue in organizational leadership and supervision. Built my career up in automotive industry, and leadership was one of the leaders in that. And automotive is very male dominant. So as a woman leader, I learned a lot of skills. I think the stats are like usually 3% women leaders in that industry.
Wow.
And fast forward, I went through a huge spiritual awakening and moved from Indiana to Florida, and then went into software and had zero software background, and saw kind of the same trends in every company that I worked with, and also was coaching, some small businesses on the side, and everyone had the same issues. It was just trends of no operations, no planning, no execution, no accountability, and the lack of leadership, a leader of self. So if you can't lead yourself, how are you going to lead your business and your team? And it all starts with self. And that's when me and my business partner came together and Transformative Leadership was born. And so that's kind of how we got to where we're at. Before Transformative Leadership, I did a lot of coaching, health and fitness. I also competed in powerlifting at a competitive level and lost a lot of weight. So I did a little bit of that. And then I coached a little bit on mindset, spirituality. And then me and my business partner came together and started this, it's been, yeah, that's kind of how we got here today.
Wow. Jumped out the window, the second story window. Woo! Just took a leap of faith, literally, Emily.
Yeah, I feel that because I'm also in this season of taking another leap of faith, and I was reminded how important it is to leap and trust that we will be caught even when we don't see the net.
Right. Oh, I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. So, what were some of your initial challenges that you faced starting your business?
Oh, there was a lot. I will tell all people that are wanting to start a business or that are in business, if you want to grow quickly, just start a
Mhm.
business or have children.
Yes.
Because it will show you every opportunity for where you get to develop yourself. And for me personally, that looked like working on my self-worth. I was coaching for free. I was coaching for like 25, $50 an hour, knowing that I'm providing them a life transformation in that
Right.
moment. So that was one challenge. I really had to embody my knowledge, my worth, my value, and be able to operate and charge at that level. And just
Okay.
to paint you a picture, it's like going from 25, 50 an hour to now working in government. We're also into government contracting, and that money is completely different, right? You're looking at millions versus, these hourly rates. So that was a challenge I got to learn, and also how to build that capacity to be like, no, I'm worthy of having a multimillionaire business. Like, that's what I'm rooted in, right? And to root that in was one of the challenges. I would say the other challenge was balance. I'm a single mom, and I'm like, how do I balance all these things and not burn myself out? And realizing sometimes building a business isn't about doing all the things, but you
Right.
also get to relax and just be, and know that staying busy is it's a cycle of like survival, right? As long as we stay busy, we don't have to face what we really need to face in our life.
Right. Okay. How did you balance the demands of your entrepreneurship with parenting responsibilities?
That was a lot of prioritizing. I looked at business and asked, what is generating revenue? And that's the first question I ask a lot of my clients, like, what are you doing that is generating revenue? And scrolling social media doesn't count, right?
Right.
And then asking, where is my energy and my time going to? And how can I shift that? And for me, as a single mom with my boys, it was having a conversation with my boys to say, hey, I'm building this business. It's going to require a new level of me. And I would love, because my boys are now 15 and 17, right? I would
Yeah.
love to have your guys' support on doing different things around the house. So we created a chore chart. We created these things so everyone knows what their day-to-day responsibilities are. So mom doesn't have to say, hey, the chores aren't done, or hey, you need to do this. That really helped me balance that out. And then having time in my calendar to actually connect with my boys. Because as long as it's scheduled, then I'll follow through with it. So that
Right.
that was the biggest thing, but also like letting go of the constructs and the guilt of parenting, because a lot of that comes with it, of just like, you get to build a successful business and you get to be an amazing parent at the same time. And
Right.
it doesn't have to be one or the other. And just asking myself, like, what does that look like for me? And I'm never going to be your Pinterest mom. I'm never going to volunteer at school functions because that stuff wears me out.
Right.
But I am going to teach my boys leadership skills. I am going to teach them how to cook and all these things. So that was kind of the balance for me.
Teaching them how to cook. That's cool. I'm actually doing that with my daughter now, teaching her, starting with the basics, with eggs. That's the basics.
Yeah. Yes.
What strategies have you found effective in managing time between work and family?
Uh, First strategy I would say is kind of like multi steps here. One is clarity. Where are you going? And making sure that your actions align with where you're going. I see
Right.
this so much in small businesses where they want to go to 100K month or whatever that is, but they don't have the actions to align with it. And then anything that is not on those actions, let go of it. And so that also looks like letting go of people that are no longer serving you, not showing up in places that drain your energy. And the strategy for me now, it's very clear on where I'm going in my business. And therefore, if it doesn't align with that overall strategy, because we've built that strategy, we've built that. If it doesn't align, I'm not doing it. I got very clear, but also understanding your patterns that you have within yourself, of, because FOMO could come in, right? The fear of missing out. Oh, I need to do this. Shiny object syndrome is real for small business owners. And it's like saying no. If that means writing it down on a document of like, oh, one day I'd like to do these ideas, and just letting it sit there
Hmm.
and not going in 40,000 different directions, will help you manage that time in your business, and then therefore, the time in your family. And
Right.
also determining, what does time for you and your family look like, not what the world tells you it should look like.
I love that, Emily. I love that. Can you share a specific moment when you had to make a tough decision as a leader?
Oh, I have so many. Um, a specific moment, this one's actually probably more recent. I realized as a business owner and as a brand, there are certain brands that will not align with you. And
Right.
even though I said yes to collaborating, I went back and said, actually, after, thinking about it, feeling into it, I'm very spiritual, very aligned. This opportunity is not in alignment with me now. And now I'm going to have the conversation with them to be like, I'm out on this event.
Right.
And I walked away. And I had that conversation and it was an open and, clearing conversation of just like, the brands aren't aligned. We're not going in the same direction. And how I operate and how we operate our brands, it's high integrity. It is, we back up what we say. And I only want to work with people that operate in that way.
Right. Okay. Walking away from something, your
Yeah.
beliefs is not aligned with you. We're on the same page. If it doesn't fit or serve me, like it doesn't fit what I'm doing, you gotta go. So,
Exactly.
so how has your approach to leadership evolved since you first started?
How I first started in leadership, I felt like I was a sink or swim. I didn't have the skills, and I was always looking for books and looking for things like how can I develop, more of this. Even going through school, it didn't teach you leadership skills, like real life application skills. And what really shifted for me is when I looked at leadership from a leader of self concept. How do I lead myself? How am I leading myself to communicate? How do I lead on a day to day basis when no one is watching? Am I
Right.
self sabotaging? Am I procrastinating? How am I leading through chaos? And seeing the patterns and then asking if I want to continue that pattern. So I would say it's evolved and it will continue to evolve
Okay.
along with the capacity to lead. So some
Hmm.
of us can lead, ourselves. Other people may be able to lead thousands, right? So
Right.
it's building that capacity.
Okay. What role has your family played in your entrepreneurial journey?
My boys specifically have inspired me to continue this journey because I want to be able to show them that there is multiple ways you can make money. It's
Okay.
not just one way or the other. I would say my dad played a huge role because I was like, he was an entrepreneur, had
Yeah.
multiple businesses, but I also picked up some habits that I had to reprogram from him too. So there's also that flip side.
Okay. So how do you teach your children about entrepreneurial leadership? Did I just ask you
No,
that?
no. So how I teach them that is it's kind of two sides. There's the leadership side and then there's the entrepreneurship side. And from a leader, I teach them the whole leader of self concepts. Like how are you leading yourself on a day-to-day basis? So there are certain things that are expectations and boundaries and standards in the house. And some of those standards are you get to move your body at least
Right.
4 to 5 times a week. You're taking care of your mental health. You're taking care of your physical health. Where is your connection with God, source, whatever you're believing in, and right? And that's just on the leadership side. And then how are you also being an advocate and being a voice for those that may not have that voice?
Right.
To shift, collective, to shift the consciousness of the world. And then on the entrepreneurship side, I teach them the world is unlimited possibilities. If you are given a dream and a vision, and you are given that for a reason, so lean into it, even if it's crazy, even if it's wild, and take those chances, take those risks, because that's how you're going to learn and grow.
I love that. I love that, Emily. You got to take risk. Being in a comfort zone, you're not. You're staying just boxed in. You got to
Yeah.
be able to take a risk. Unfortunately, that's part of growth. Can you talk about a failure you experienced and how you overcame it?
Yeah, I've got multiple of those. I always go back to their never failures unless I didn't learn from them. And I would
Right.
say one of the biggest one was making mistakes at the start of the business of marketing, hiring, some marketing that they did not perform what they said they were going to do, made this investment. And now we're not getting the results. There was a money back guarantee. We go back to get our money, and they're like, no, you can't have it back now. Right.
Right.
But that taught me to look at specifics when hiring people, that taught me to look at the investments, that taught me to listen to what is in alignment with the business and not make quick decisions, but instead give myself time to, allow the information to be there, because I'm the type that I need 24 to 48 hours and then I'll
Right.
make a decision. So just slowing down, and we don't have to make a decision today if we're not sure.
Okay. What keeps you motivated during difficult times?
So I always say motivation is BS, and it's because I'm not always motivated.
Right.
But I always go back to, through challenging times, I like to see it as, what am I currently growing through, and what skills are being developed in me through this growth, through this challenge.
Right.
And that really keeps me moving forward. I will say I always have the vision of the business and the impact that the business does make. That's always inspiring because I'm very impact driven, and I love to see, just overall the transformation that people go through and their businesses go through.
Okay. Okay. How do you maintain a positive mindset and resilience in the face of challenges?
The positive mindset is something I've built over time. That's been a lot of reprogramming. Um,
Okay.
Resilience has been something I've learned at an early age. The resilience to leave the culture when everything is stacked against you. And then the resilience to become a powerlifter when I never worked out a day in my life. So resilience is really something, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with, like, you have to have the discipline and the
Mhm.
consistency with that discipline to build that. And then it's like, how far are you willing to go? And you will find those tests that come along the way of, like, are you going to stop, or are you going to continue further? So it's
Mhm.
in that moment making that decision of, like, no, going back to the vision, going back to, I know this is what I'm called for. Even if I need a rest today, we're back at it tomorrow. So it's just like
Right.
finding that balance, because it's a long game. It's not a short game.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to other parents who are also entrepreneurs, Emily?
My advice would be to, one, if you have any parent guilt, let go of that. It's not serving you. Two, how can you have conversations with your children and also involve them so they know what you're building and communicate that with them? And remember that parenting and business, like, it's all synced together, right? It's
Right.
all one thing. You get to make it look however it's going to serve you, whether the world tells you it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do. I've been told by multiple parents that, I can't believe, you let your boys do this, or I can't believe that you make your boys go grocery shopping. I'm like, they're 15 and 17. They know how to go grocery shopping. So yeah, that's their chores. But
Right.
it's like teaching also, it gives them, when you teach your children these skills, let them also have the opportunity to make those mistakes so that way they learn from them. And
Right.
finding that balance of business and children, but at the end of the day, you know what you need for your business and you know what your child needs, and trust that.
I love that. But we'll talk more about that after the show because I just love your whole view on that. Can you share a success story that you're proud of?
Oh man, I don't even know which one I want to share. So for me, success right now, I would say overall, it's um, the balance of being able to live a lifestyle where mind, body, and soul are taken care of and nourished on every level. And that's success for me. Now, from a client aspect, I've had a lot of clients where the biggest success that I love to share in a client aspect is being able to take somebody's pricing point where they're at and quadrupling it for them. And because I know how much that's going to impact them financially and then what it's going to do to their business. And I've done that with a ton of small business owners where they're like, I just want to increase my prices by 20%. And they'll walk out of the session with, 130% increase with an action plan, with the confidence and being able to implement that and
Right.
hearing them say like, I raised my prices and I got a client today. Like that's success. That's success.
I love that. What are some leadership qualities you believe are essential for success?
I would say the biggest one is being able to communicate effectively and efficiently, and also learning how to listen, not to respond, but to truly listen. And the biggest thing I will say is as a leader to be able to see yourself, acknowledge yourself, and hear yourself at a deep level because that's what you're going to be able to do for others. So, just to give you an example, I can see my value, I can see my worth, and when I'm around people, I can see it in them. The same way, like it just translates to clients. And so to be able to build those skills within yourself first, because it is a ripple effect. It is
Right.
100% a ripple effect.
So, how do you stay inspired in your business?
Inspiration will come and go. And it's for me, it's like when I feel inspired, like today, I may feel inspired to write content. Tomorrow, I may feel inspired to knock out some government contracts, whatever it is. But it's really finding that fire. If I'm in a
Mhm.
point where I have lost all inspiration and I'm like, I don't have no inspiration,
Mhm.
that's a sign for me to take a break, whether that break is an hour, whether that break is a day, whether that break is 2 days. Like just figuring out like how I operate. And also for me it's like putting myself in environments that do inspire me. Like for some reason I get a lot of inspiration from coffee shops when I go work at coffee shops. So just finding those things that really inspire you.
Okay, so what legacy you look to leave behind as a parent to your children?
The legacy of leadership, of transformation, of helping heal the collective and just rising up. I know I'm a disruptor. I know that I'm here to shake and wake things up and bring things to the surface and say, okay, here it is. Now wake up and let's have a conversation about it.
Okay. Looking back on your journey, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Hmm. Know your worth and stand in your power.
It's powerful. Yes. How can our listeners connect with you, Emily? You have anything going on? Any events?
Yeah, we do have a leadership retreat in September of this year, 2024, in St. Petersburg, Florida. Um, we are going to be leading other events. And then they can connect with me on I Love Threads. And I'm Emily Adams underscore score on Threads. Also Instagram, Emily Adams. And then also on LinkedIn and YouTube under Emily Adams. Those are probably my biggest platforms that I'm on. And I
Yes.
will also say, if you guys listen to this recording and you guys have questions, just know my DMs are always open. I welcome any questions. If I can support, provide resources or insights, don't be afraid to slide in the DMs.
I like that. Okay. And all her information will be linked under this video as well, so you can connect to her. I love Threads. Threads is definitely the way that I met you. Shout out to Coach Drew because he tagged you in the post, and that's how we got aligned. So super, super grateful. Thank you so much, Emily, for taking the time out to answer questions and let people know more about you. It
Thank
was-
you for allowing me to be here.
Yes, and we will chat. So, with that being said, you guys, thank you for joining us on Her Story Untold Studios, where we turn trials into triumphs. Remember, your story is a beacon of hope and strength. Stay resilient, keep sharing your light, and never forget that every story has the power to transform lives. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay connected with our latest episodes. Until next time, take care.